Chicka brown cow. Hey listeners, here's another episode of the Wisco Weekly podcast. I'm your host, Dennis Wisco, sitting in the booth of Car Chat 24, having my two guests here today that I'm very curious to learn about what's going on with them. I have Michael Chaparro and Jeff Stearns. Gentlemen, welcome to the podcast.
Happy to be here, Dennis.
Thank you so much. Hey, how's everyone doing at home?
Everyone's doing great, Mike.
Hey, thanks for narrating that back to me. I felt uncomfortable after I asked it.
I gotta tell you, I have my co-host who just started with me last season. When she was getting acclimated to the podcast, that was definitely one thing she was asking initially. Like after 4 episodes we were doing, she kept asking that. It's at the point where I'm like, yeah, hey, look, you want to continue to talk to the listeners and wait for their response? And so it takes some getting used to.
Fair enough.
But hey, before we start, why don't we talk about Jeff? Jeff has some phenomenal hair here that the podcast listeners
Wish you could see it.
Yeah, that don't get to see this. Hopefully you'll at least see the picture. I'll do the picture.
And Jeff is a favorite topic of mine also.
Well, you're going to have to wait your turn. So back to what he looks like, folks. So, Jeff, can you tell us again why your hair? Your hair
you
is
actually
white.
Provide the best description of
your
of
hair is
your hair.
white, but it's got black
Okay,
tips.
so
Talk
here's
to
the
us.
deal. I'm a 52-year-old guy who's been gray since he's 30. So let me tell you, when you're in your 30s and you got people asking you to sign their cast because they think you're Bob Barker, you start.
I see the distinction.
You start getting a little self-conscious. But what really got to me is when I started seeing pictures of myself with a flash or out in the sun, and my hair disappears like white monofilament fishing lines, and I look stone bald, even though you can see in the right lighting my hair is beautiful.
Well, and
Well
you
said.
and you got a complimentary tan to go along with the hair too. Is this a natural tan or is this?
This is just 40 years of sun damage growing up in Florida with the blue eyes and freckles, and should never have been outside.
You're a good-looking guy.
But selling cars.
I'm straight.
Thank you, well put.
But you're a good-looking guy.
Not offended either way. Let's just say I'm never without a date.
Okay, those of you holding your mobile phones, hit pound law if you'd like us to rewind that so you didn't have to hear that.
All right, so let's get into Car Chat 24. So, Michael, you and I wrapped out a little bit, and I think one of the things that you and I saw eye to eye, which not a lot of people do, is how there are just things about the automotive industry that many critics would say how dealers are so far behind in their technology, but you and I see it differently. We believe that dealerships and the car business in general is further ahead than what they think they are. So let's start off with, tell us a little bit about, what's the future of chat based on what you've seen so far, or how is Car Chat 24 leading other industries in terms of chat?
Well, great question. And to your point, right initially, let's talk about the form in which we're sitting here having this conversation. We're having this discussion in the Las Vegas Convention Center, where there's got to be some, 50,000 plus dealers and exhibitors, maybe more. Maybe I hit that number incredibly light. And this is the who's who of businesses and dealers trying to sharpen themselves against other stones and the latest in tech, chat, websites, you name it. And these dealers are here and they're learning a whole bunch about best practices and digital and everything. And so for those automotive dealers that aren't giving themselves enough credit, well, you're here and look at what you're learning. Now, as we take what we've learned from automotive and chat and we talk about other industries, i.e. boat, RV, real estate, some other industries, we say, the automotive industry has got to be about 10 or 15 years ahead.
Yeah, totally.
Easily.
I mean, I help work out with doing digital marketing for doctor offices, and that is also kind of another retail space, but they don't have most of them don't have forms of chat, and if they do, they're quite bad. They're definitely not on par with what car dealerships have on their website. So, Jeff, were you going to add something to that? I'm sorry. I don't want to put you on the spot.
No, I just wanted to audit Michael's 50,000 attendees number. I'll look at that later.
Okay, so that was brought to you by PolitiFact. Tune in after the show to get the results.
Well, but I do believe that. I mean, yeah, it's like when you hear about the automotive industry being a multi-billion-dollar industry, when you do come to the expo floor of NADA, you see
2/3 of that's being spent right now.
Yeah, seriously.
I mean, it's definitely there is money changing hands. But what's interesting is that every dealership has a internet director, has a BDC manager, has a general manager that is being pounded to transition his traditional budget to digital dollars. And so he needs to figure out who to trust, what to spend his money on, and how to get results. And I think the automotive industry has been doing a no man's job over the last 6 or 7 years. And for that, again, you were to go look at another industry, light years, just light years ahead. And so Car Chat is trying to bring some of that knowledge that these dealers aren't giving themselves credit for and share it with other industries that can benefit from what we've learned.
Well, tell me then about Car Chat 24. How does it work? What are some of the advantages of it?
Go ahead, Joe.
Okay, I should pick up my mic now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Then put your comb away.
Okay. So, look, I'm thrilled to be with Car Chat 24. I'm proud of being in this business. I'm proud of the car business. I was in retail car business most of my life. My dad was an independent car dealer in Detroit growing up. And it's funny because car dealers get fun poked at them by talk show hosts or comedians or whatever. And I guess if it wasn't for lawyers or television evangelists, the car dealers would have no one to make fun of. But in the end, make fun of them or not, automotive dealers are innovators. So here we are in the chat business, and what we're doing in chat being the genuine article, Car Chat 24, in business more than a decade, using our knowledge from running dealerships, getting our BDC staff to say things through chat that dealerships every day would wish that they can get their staff to say. Yes, they give them the training. They just can't enforce it on the floor.
Well, yeah, so tell me a little bit about that, because I think one of the things that I've always found challenging about a chat now, I'm not your average shopper buyer. I obviously know more about the automotive industry than probably anybody that's on the other side of me. However, there are certain times, I don't know, maybe it's a little sick game that I like to play with myself, where it's like, okay, I'm on this dealership website, I'm looking for a car for a client of mine, and okay, let me, I don't want to make the call, let me chat with them. The chat usually then goes to somebody that is not as well versed as I am. Okay, and again, I'd like to think, just as much as Jeff is the man around Las Vegas, I'd like to think I'm the man around this convention center. So, how do you guys, support a dealership operation so that who is ever on the other end of that, they are being able to respond in a very professional and informative way, so much so that they're not just trying to get you to give your information to them?
Well, let's be clear that in the end,
Good question.
Yep, the
Great
goal is to get the
Absolutely.
hard-earned, expensive traffic that comes through the website to give up something. Michael brings up a great statistic that 95, 96, 97% of the website traffic comes through anonymously, gives the dealer nothing.
Yep.
So there are things that we do on a concierge level that, for example, what will your holiday business hours be? What's your service manager's name? Can you show me a credit app? And we have a neat little trick where instead of passing them a link, we change the browser for the shopper to give them a true concierge experience. You sold cars for a while, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Mm-hmm. So you would walk your shopper to the restroom, or walk the visitor or your guest to the parts counter and not point, right?
Right.
So we have a little bit of that same idea.
Okay,
We were
okay.
trying to come across. Now you're looking at it. We'll change the browser. So we're able to provide service like that. But when it comes right down to it, the number one thing a dealer is going to fire us for is if they're not selling cars.
Right.
So we do need to get some names and numbers.
Right. Is there, though, any kind of, do you provide additional training to whoever the BDC is or whoever is answering that, so as so that the integration between Car Chat 24, the dealership, and that middle person, it's that middle person that, that's where I believe there's a little bit of friction that still exists. So is there something that you guys are doing to minimize that friction on that middle person?
Well, we find that, first of all, the typical chat, and I'm not just trying to throw a stat out, but it'll mean something. The typical chat is 8 minutes.
Okay.
So that in itself says that, right, Michael, that there's a little bit of conversation.
Yeah, there's definitely, we see statistically across all of our accounts that we run anywhere between a 7 and 9 second volley response time. You ask a question, we think about it, 7-8 seconds, we're getting back to you with an answer on that. And then across the board, statistically, the average right now is hovering right around 8 minutes. During an 8-minute conversation, which online is an eternity, let's all reflect on 15 and 30 second Facebook ads, but halfway through them, you're ready to smash your computer. 8 minutes is a long time. So there is a lot of concierge experience. There is a lot of, hey, we work with bad credit. Bad credit happens to good people. Would you be happening looking for a new car or a used car? So in that scripting, there was a transition back to the road to the sale, right? And these are some of the 19-point metrics that we do grade our 180 operators on to make sure that they are listening, agreeing, understanding, and then transitioning back into their end-all, be-all, their pay plan, get them down the road to the sale.
Excellent.
Let me get their name, let me get their number, let me offer a VIP appointment.
The 8 minute average talk time, is that desktop, mobile in general? Are you able to do you guys offer your chat on mobile?
Absolutely.
How's that fair? Because I know that there's been some pushback from businesses that they feel that chat on mobile is still not. It's a little more invasive. They don't get as much success. What can you say?
I agree 100%. Statistically, that is all accounts across all verticals, mobile and desktop. But we heard the dealers loud and clear, absolutely. And in fact, you and I would agree, as would Jeff. We'd all rather a text message when we're on our cell phones, right?
Right.
And so having the ability for someone to just be, finding themselves on a dealer website, oh, look at that, in 30 seconds I'm going to figure out whether or not I'm going to go a step further or bounce from this website. Oh, I can press my thumb and just text in a question right from Google My Business or right from a VDP page, and just now it opens up my native text messaging app, and I just say, yeah, how late are you open on Saturday? And within 8 seconds I've got a response and who to ask for, and by the way, would you like to see our rebates and incentives, giving them additional reasons to stay engaged and ask questions? So yeah, we try to transition on mobile to text, and on desktop, by far, it's a landslide. We get way more engagement in the desktop in the window.
The 24, is that because the chat you guys offer is 24 hours a day?
Yes.
So then how does that work for the dealership when their offices are closed? Who's on the other end of that?
Okay, great question. So there's a few styles of chat. Some dealers take our software only.
I feel like you're about to propose like some kind of like dating scenario. There's a few different ways to pick up on a girl here.
That'll be another podcast.
Stay tuned. Bonus material coming at you.
Okay, so sorry. There's a few different chats.
So yes. So software only is where the dealer is using our software, for example, as a telephone. They're doing all the chatting themselves inside the store, just using our software.
Okay.
Next level would be the dealers chatting themselves using their own sales staff or BDC agents or whatever, and CarChat 24 takes the ones they miss after a short delay so they don't lose the customer, plus everything overnight and on the weekends. And then our core business is 24/7 fully managed support. And we do have a strong opinion about which is the best way.
Well, I know what the answer is. I know where you're leading, but tell me why you believe that is the best way to go about it.
Well, I mean, I have a philosophical answer and I have data.
Speak on it.
All right, so philosophical is dealers say, should I have you do it or should I have my staff do it or what? And by the way, if you say that you want to do it, Mr. CarChat guy, that means you're probably just trying to raise my ticket. Mm-hmm. I just ask them how they feel after they listen to the recorded inbound phone calls.
Well, yeah, okay.
Okay. And then after they talk about how they want to go kill everyone
in the showroom, line them up,
and then jump off the roof.
Wait, hold on here. I think your mic went out a little bit here. Go ahead. Try it one more time.
Okay. Are we okay to continue?
Try it one more time.
Hello? Is this mic working?
Yeah, actually, it's working. I can't hear you, but okay, go on.
Okay.
It's recording.
Will we be editing this?
No, this is straight.
You kidding me? He's got a 15-second dump trigger over there.
Okay, I like it. So naturally, the dealer wants to go hurt everyone in the store and then themselves after they listen to their inbound phone calls.
Okay.
And that's the same wheelhouse that would be doing the chatting, along with the spelling errors, the grammar problems,
okay.
and typing in all caps.
Well, so then what is it about... Tell me a little bit more about the staff then at CarChat 24 who are answering these.
Okay, and I'll back up statistics too, because in our system, we have a segment of dealers doing all their own, we have a segment of dealers doing some and we're taking the rest, and then of course we have dealers where we manage it all 24/7, and right now we have 0 dealers, meaning 0, that have the same rate as website visitor to chat as our operators do, and 0 that have the same rate as conversation to converting to a lead as our operators. So far, the numbers prove that a dealer shouldn't be chatting on their own.
Okay.
In our case, our average operator's been with us 6 years.
Okay.
We're subjecting them to a 19 metric performance review every month.
I want to come back to that, but go on. Yeah.
Okay, fine. On that performance review, it's everything from how many chats they did, so we know that they're not just looking at dating or shopping shoes or whatever. We're looking at their chat to lead ratio. We're looking at how many parts and service chats they took to make sure they're not cherry picking the higher bonus sales conversation and making a lead. We're measuring how many seconds to answer, because we have a direct correlation between that and making a lead, and we measure CSI.
Okay.
So there's a lot of things going on, and with the tenure of the operator, unlike dealership staff, they're getting better and better and better with time.
That is excellent, actually. That is excellent. The 19-point metric, I presume you're rattling some off right now.
Yeah.
What are, do you guys know, can you recite all 19, or I'm going to put you on the spot?
Well, sure.
Drum roll, please. Let's give it up for Jeff Stearns. He's going to start at number one.
It appears that you weren't listening a moment ago. So it's
that's what the headphones are here for.
It starts with how many chats they took. So
Okay.
Got it.
Well, you ripped off like 7 of them. I counted 7.
Got it.
All
Okay.
right.
But then we're also measuring, for example, how many chats they answered in under 5 seconds, under 10 seconds, under
interesting.
15 seconds,
When someone
under
asked
20
for a
seconds.
link, did they paste the link? Did they use the technology we have? Like, notice on that screen right next to you, it says in the chat window, the operator has changed the browser to awesomeaudi.com/pre-approval. So that is, again, enhancing the shopper's buying experience. We're not just, here's the link, click on it. Hey, you want to go to the parts counter, follow me. It's right this way. And so that's another metric that we're grading our operators on.
So how do you guys feel about bots?
Well,
Chat
I don't
bots.
have an opinion. Jeff does. Go ahead.
I'm an ex-desk manager. Why do you think I would ever have an opinion about anything?
You were where were you an ex-desk manager at?
I was desk and never left desk, even as a GM and in GSM for 20 years.
What store?
3 stores,
Okay.
a Lincoln Mercury store in Clearwater, Florida, Cadillac Land Rover store in Clearwater, Florida, and a BMW store just outside of Clearwater, Florida.
So chat bots.
I look at
Pro, con, are you waging war?
Here's the deal.
Yeah.
We get 2 kinds of objections about bots. Some are from potential clients when we're giving them a presentation, and they say, are these robots? We don't want to deal with that. We want to make sure we have live people. And then very often during chat conversations, customers ask our operators, are you a robot or are you a live person, whatever. Now, they're using scripted answers, and they're already written for them because we don't want to worry about the grammar and spelling. And the only way to A and B split test what's working is to use something that's pre-scripted, so we're always running what's working A and B. So we'll get asked that. We had a chat the other day where a guy says, are you a real person or are you a robot or whatever? Operator says yes. The guy says, great, what do you get when you mix red and blue? And she doesn't answer, and they continue with the chat, and finally she says, can I pass the inventory is always changing, can I have the right person contact? And he goes, you didn't answer me. What do you get when you answer red and blue? And she says, purple. Can I have your info? He goes, yeah, absolutely. Here you go. So, and I can provide that one to you. But so at times I worry about do our dealers want bots or AI, and do the customers want it? But at the same time, I wonder, what if we went that way? By the way, we've tested and worked in those areas and haven't found them to work as good as our 6-year average tenure operator yet.
Yeah.
But I always wondered, what if you didn't hide the fact but made a big deal about talk to our robot, and maybe that would attract a new customer. I don't know.
Interesting.
I would like to add that there is probably plenty of things that we could automate and associate those triggers with software injected into chat. Parts and hours. That's pulling from an area that could be changed and populate. What time you open till? Do you have a credit app? Enforce the push page. Hey, where do I go to do a service appointment? Who is enter variable X of the employee, general manager, salesman? So bots could take some legwork and provide a faster experience to easy question, no different than frequently asked questions on any major site. hey, look, everybody asks these questions, he's the answer, we'll just automate that. But from everything else, right, half of our chats are for parts, sales, and service and concierge, and the other half are meat and potatoes, people wanting to talk about cars. I don't know that anybody's ready to have a bot talk about anything on the road to the sale.
I mean, plus the other day we had a chat where a guy was broken down in his car in Toronto area and asked, is the tow truck coming soon? And I'm going to switch to another dealership if you can't tell me. And our operator had to first offer a phone number, and then that wasn't good enough. Then she's offered to pass the conversation. It didn't go well regardless because he was broken down and upset.
Yeah.
But I don't know how something like that would be handled.
I like the idea is like of almost, punching the customer in the face with the idea like, hey, all right, this is a chat bot. How can I help you? I think that almost breathes a sigh of relief, because then to a certain extent, the customer will probably know how to change up the conversation based on that.
Well, let's look at Siri and Google.
Yeah,
everybody likes to sit back and play around and ask her dumb questions, right?
That's actually how I was thinking about it, because when you're talking to these voice bots, you know that, okay, well, look, I'm not going to ask them, what underwear should I wear today?
She might answer that. They're getting good. You know that.
Actually, it is pretty creepy. I checked on, so I think like 6 months ago, I checked my Alexa log. Kind of creepy, some of the things that were recorded on there. And again, it wasn't the times that I said Alexa. It was the times it heard Alexa and then recorded for 3 seconds after that.
Nice.
Kind of
nice.
trippy to hear. I see you guys have like an emoji. Just as a fun little question, how many people do you guys ever log that, tally that? How many people are like using an emoji in their communication?
It's a relatively new feature, actually brought to you by yours truly, Jeff Stearns, right here. We just injected the emojis into our chat operating platform on mobile and desktop probably within the last 4.5 months. And I have not personally seen the reporting statistics. I use them, I'll tell you that. I love
our dev team is actually logging what's going on with the responses.
Wait, so did you introduce that?
I introduced it to our company because someone that I'd met had actually written a college thesis about the use of emojis when you answer negative feedback as a business for like Oxford. This paper was done. And anyway.
So does that mean then the Car Chat 24 chatters would also use that emoji back to the customer?
Yes.
Yeah. Cool. I mean,
being tested. So look,
sure.
What makes us a little different than the chat space is we don't like to talk about anything that's neat just for neat's sake. We only like to talk about what works.
Okay.
So we're doing it now and we're testing it now, and we'll keep doing it if we see that it works, and we're going to stop doing it or leave it up to the operator to put a smiley face after. I hope you enjoy your stay on the website.
That would be interesting actually to hear if all of a sudden you can incorporate some kind of emoji towards the end of a conversation that actually does lead to a higher percentage of leads being submitted. That would actually be pretty fascinating.
We're accepting those submissions now in the link below. You can find those on wiscoweeklypod.com. We're excited to see your feedback. I will tell you currently that we are A/B testing static images for the operator versus graphic GIF images, where when you're chatting, the emoji's looking down at the keyboard, turning up and smiling.
Interesting.
We're constantly testing and probably have 27 to 28 different names in rotation, heavily tilted towards female right now. And we're testing blonde, brunette, redhead, you name it, strawberry blonde, all the different colors. And right now, I believe Brunette Nikki is the top.
She's the lead horse right now.
She's the big. Hey, it's all psychology, right? Green means go, red means stop. So these are the types of things in the chat world that when we're on your website, we're trying to fine-tune that engine every day above and beyond the context of what we're talking about to give you the competitive advantage and convert more.
So in addition to simply chatting, you guys also have a video feature.
Correct, yes.
Tell me about that, because again, for someone like myself, I don't know. Like I guess until
I get you to use it.
Yeah, until I see what that video is. Like the initial thought is like, yeah, I don't like.
Right,
that's
so
almost too. It's almost too personal.
You're driving to work, right? You got your coffee between your legs. You're driving. You pass the same dealership every day. You're with me?
Okay.
But today, what's your favorite car?
Audi RS5.
Okay. Today, there's a 2-year-old Audi RS5 on the corner with 2 balloons on it, and it's like, whoa. That one might be in my price range. That one's the perfect color. It might be certified and have the special financing, but you're driving by on your way to work. You get to work, you bust out your iPhone, and you go on the dealer's website. You want to look at a couple pictures closer than that. Somewhere around 10 to 15 seconds after being on that VDP page, a window slides open and says, "Hi, welcome to the site. You got any questions?" "Yeah, I got a question. Is that car certified?" "Hey, you know what? Hang on 1 second. I'm going to go ask my salesman." "Yes, it is certified. Would you like me to go do a quick walk-around presentation on that car?" You can do that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, absolutely. So in one button now inside that chat window, you've like actuated FaceTime on his end.
But it's not FaceTime.
No, it's actually a small video window within the chat window where you can watch them on their end with their mobile app, walk out to that car, do a walk around, open the door, show you it's a handshaker with the sunroof, do a small hood and trunk. How much more rapport do you have with that salesman?
This is live. This is kind of a live interaction,
live video feed.
And then as a follow-up, is there the recorded video then that gets sent to them so that they can rewatch it later on that evening, kind of thing?
No, it stays live in the transcript and it will be available to the dealer, but nothing is sent off to the consumer at that point. But I'll tell you, what we see a lot of is, wow, people are not expecting, say, "Hey, I'll show it to you right now." I've required nothing. I've not required a name, an email address, a cell phone number. I just said, "Hey, Dennis, you want to check it out?" "Sure, check this out." Click the green button. Green button comes in the chat. You hit it. You're checking it out live. Now, on my way back in from the corner, I'm walking in the showroom and I go, "Hey, Dennis, that's Jeff. He's the VIP manager. Ask for him when you get here." "I'm Michael. Look for me. I'll be out front right around 12. Are you coming by on your lunch break?"
So actually, that was going to be my next question. Was how do you go from, chatting online to eventually, aside from, of course, a customer submitting their information, going from chat online to having the customer go into the store, and what are the ways to minimize that friction? As you just mentioned, one of the ways is just having that video of, or the picture of that person that helped you out, right? That they can see, and then eventually they can go in the store and ask for that person.
Right. Yeah. The number one thing we want to do in a chat or on a phone call is set an appointment. Sometimes you have to make a few emotional deposits within that chat, answer 6 or 7 questions. That way, natural response when we ask for your name or your email, or, "Hey, I'm going to go touch that car and call you right back," you'll give the name and the number because this gentleman's helped you. He's answered 6 or 7 questions. What we do see frequently in most of the chat world is someone will come into a chat window, ask 7 questions, get no responses except someone saying, "What's your name? What's your number?"
Right.
Sometimes you just want to ask the question and get help, right?
Well, yeah, and again, I think going back to the fact that there's a human element behind that chat, I personally am a much bigger fan of that than knowing that there's a bot on there. But again, maybe if it was thrown in my face that this is a bot, then again, it would change my behavior. So you guys have emojis, you guys have video. You guys are, it seems like
texting, lead to ring, live video, Facebook Messenger. See dealer for details.
Which then has culminated in a partnership with eLead. So tell me a little bit about that.
Super excited. eLead CRM, great company, been around years and years and years. That's a very competitive space, a very involved space, and CRM is just a world that we've all, and thank goodness, have all evolved into for tracking purposes, accountability, and streamlining the process. Some do it better than others, so I personally think eLead does it the best. They have over 8,000 accounts live nationwide in Canada, and they frequently get a lot of dealers asking them about chat. And so just within the last 30 days, they've reached out to CarChat24, partnered with CarChat24 as their preferred partner. We offer exclusive integrations with eLead CRM for people that have CRM with eLead. One of those exclusive integrations would be posting your VIP appointment directly to the VIP appointment board for that particular day with direct post via a third tier level API, so no more ADF XML and the lag that comes from that and response time. Additionally, being able to provide additional metadata about shoppers on the website and visiting your website that may not have submitted lead information, but they're in your CRM as previous clients or service customers, and we'll be able to go back and tag and post a note on there for the salesperson to say, "Hey, Jeff was on the website looking at an Audi, maybe you call him." And so closing the gap between the website and the CRM.
For those dealers that have a chat now, and perhaps they're not happy with it. And again, of course, you probably have to understand why they're not happy with it. How would you guys look to observe some of the faults in what their system, how their system is set up? Jeff just perked up.
Pick me like a third grader right now. Pick me right here, Mr. Jones.
Oh my God.
Go ahead.
I'm offended by what gets sold as chat to dealers now, and
Yeah, okay, I'm with
it,
you. I'm with you.
it really comes down to what used to make me crazy as a retail guy, which was a digital vendor who never sold a car in their life trying to tell you how to run your dealership.
Okay, yep.
That's
Speak
what.
on it.
That's where. So I mean, it starts with, and Michael can echo, but how about, for example, some are still requiring an email and/or a phone number to start a chat.
That's terrible.
I mean, honestly, that's going on now. It's going on at a booth 2 doors down here, but I'm not saying north, south, east, or west. So we're not.
It's for those of you tuned in. It's orange. That's
Okay.
all I can say. It's orange.
So we can start there.
Okay.
We can move on to shiny lures that only damage the opportunity for the dealer, like posting inventory in the chat window to blunt the shopper's attention instead of narrow it.
Okay.
You wouldn't have your receptionist at the dealership saying, "Hang on, I'm really, really glad that you're asking for that, Dennis, but before I transfer you, can I run a few other cars, new and used, makes, models, leases? By the way, before I switch you to the guy you want to buy tires, right, let me just first of all tell you about the." You wouldn't have your receptionist doing that. You want them in the hands of whoever's going to get together with the customer. That's going on out there. My gosh, there's some that, like, for example, Michael brought up that we test the operator's images, and we've tested male and female, and male doesn't have a chance. There's just who
Have
cares?
they tried your profile pic?
That would only increase our gay senior citizen Palm Beach.
So you're saying there's a chance for us to pick up revenue? I'm
I'm
sending that one to
saying
data
there is a
support
segment.
ASAP.
Yeah. So.
Jeff, turn your mic just a little bit. Oh, actually, yeah, you're fine. You're fine. Okay.
So anyway, there are some that open a customer onto a new browser page to chat.
Okay.
It's horrible out there.
Tell me about that. Well, talking about a browser that you guys then end up sending to the customer. Tell me about how that looks like.
If we're guiding a customer
Yes.
to a page?
Yes.
Okay.
Because paint me the picture, because
Fine.
I'm having trouble seeing what that browser page would look like.
Customer's chatting, and they say I'm looking for a job.
Okay.
And the operator says, "One moment, if you'd like, I'll put you on it." And she will actually navigate the shopper to the employment page, and it'll say, just like on the stand here, that the operator has changed your browser page too, and the customer will say, "Oh my God, you changed my window. How did you do that?"
How is that done?
That,
I mean,
that's very secret tech.
Yeah, again,
We get tapped by NASA all the time to look at things.
You've already said too much, Jeff.
Okay,
Over
I'm
your
already.
NDA.
That's actually interesting. I'd almost want to see that feature myself.
I'm so glad you asked. If you'll look just slightly over your right shoulder, we're going to perform a live demo. So you got to narrate this for the listeners at home. New chat comes in. Guy says hello. Asks specifically, where is your finance page? I've been looking for it on your website. Cannot find it. Not a problem, sir. I've got a couple options. I can tell you where it is, or I can take you right to it. And in a click of a mouse, we have now opened up a new browser remotely, sent it to the customer, and displayed a quick image that said the operator has changed your browser. Now, we're training our operators to follow immediately that process up with, did you have any other questions? Were you looking for a newer pre-owned vehicle? Did you want any help?
Credit
walking
app,
through this page?
service appointment
That's pretty
page, used cars under 10 grand,
Hey,
whatever.
Michael, is that you?
That is
that?
Michael.
You got your profile pickup on
This
this
is
one,
the demo site. Yep, I'm the only guy in car chat. Ladies, you can see it live at cct4.demo.dealeron.com. Check me out.
Well, gentlemen, am I missing anything about Car Chat 24? What does the future hold for you guys?
Well, we try to do the same thing every day, right? That's take over the world.
That's right.
And when we fail miserably, we just put our noses back down, and we try to expand into other verticals to spread the good news and the gospel of chat Currently, we're working with Marine. A shout out to Marine Max, just signed 65 locations with us. We're working in RV as well. Jeff can talk to that.
Marine industry.
Marine industry.
Aquatics, yeah.
Bringing
Okay.
chat to the marine industry as well as RV.
Okay.
Leadering really is the future.
Okay.
Imagine this. You sold cars, right?
Yes.
So imagine this. Imagine and here goes Michael doing another test now, doing another example. So imagine you're a salesperson and your dealer says to you, listen, Dennis, anytime somebody chats with us and gives up their phone number, we're going to ring this phone or ring your cell phone and give a robotic voice loop that says, Daniel Robles, 2018 Audi, hot sales lead, touch 1 to connect. And right at that moment, if you touch 1, it'll conference the customer into a call now.
Huh.
Would that be interesting for you if you were selling cars?
I mean, certainly, it satiates the immediacy of wanting to get information. I mean, it seems like you've evolved the idea of the whole request to call, right? Where you can hop onto some website, you click request to call, you put your information in, they call you like 10, 15 minutes later. So this is a little more of a seamless integration with that.
Yes, and how about your response time? If the manufacturer's worried about it or you're worried about it, under 1 minute in connecting to the customer, and how about reaching 2 or 3 times the customers instead of just leaving them messages that they don't always call back?
Jeff hit that nail on the head. Response time goes from an average dealer being 15, 20 minutes getting back to someone to seconds or a minute. But now that we have them on the phone, what are we trying to do when we get them on the phone that quickly? Set an appointment. So what we've seen with our dealers is that they've had a spike in appointment set ratios off of leads that are associated with lead to ring.
You don't try to sell them a car?
What's that?
You don't try to sell a car over the phone?
We try. We can't get the paperwork signed. We can't do it. So
we recommend not.
Yeah, we'll go with the appointment and let the guys do what they do best.
Well, good. Gentlemen, you guys, thanks for the entertainment.
It was a pleasure. We weren't sure about you at first, but you're all right.
I appreciate that. Thank you. Well, guys, how can people find you, Michael?
Great question. Thanks so much. Carchat24.com. Or you can check me out on LinkedIn at linkedin.com/Michael Chaparro, helping dealers sell more.
And Jeff?
Carchat24.com. Just put in a message, say, hey, I want that Jeff guy to call me.
I want that Jeff guy to call me.
And I'll find out what color my hair spike thing is.
Product placement in that. I like.
I think it's number 076, Clairol.
All right, listeners, thanks for tuning in for another episode of the Wisco Weekly podcast. As always, please rate, review, and subscribe. Follow us on Twitter and Facebook, Wisco Weekly Pod. As always, cheers, nastravi lachaim kipish, salud to the customer experience.